Hello students, do you like jam or sauce or cornflakes and other things? Do you know from where they all comes? Yes, at your home they all are comes from shops or malls etc. But what is the main origin source of all these things? Agriculture? Yes, it's okay. Many things are made up from the agricultural side, but what is the processing? Yes, all these processings held in the industries. Yes, student, today you are with Bindu Chaudhary and we are continuing our resource and development chapter 5. The name of the chapter is industries, and in this chapter we are continuing about the different aspects of industries, as on which setup it is based and who is the owner and who will be the owner as per the conditions we all discuss in this chapter. So let's start today's chapter here. See, these are the some setups of the industries, and in this setup we all know what are the processes. Different processes are going on different types of industries. See, have you ever given a thought to the fact that the notebook, yes, notebook you use for writing has come to you after a very long process of manufacturing. It's not a easy thing that you are taking a notebook and you are turning the pages. No, don't turn the pages, because it is made up within a long process. It started its life as a part of tree. See, the journey begins of a notebook with a part of a tree, and all these papers and other things made up of recycling. See, the tree was cut down and transported to the pulp mill. Where it is transported, students? The trees is transported to the pulp mill, and in that mill there the wood of the tree was processed and converted into wood pulp. See the process of the industry for the purpose of the notebook processing. The wood pulp was mixed with chemicals and finally changed into papers by machines. So it's not a simple process. It's okay, you are purchasing notebooks from the bookshops, but it is not a simple way, simple processing method. See the processing method of notebook making. This paper found its way to the press, where ink made from chemicals was used to print the lines on the pages. You have different lines, colors also. All these things happen in the industries, and with the use of chemicals all these things will be printed. See, the pages were then bound in the form of a notebook, packed and sent to the market for sale. Is it a easy process, students? No, not at all. It is not a easy process. See what a long process it is going on, and in the last all these sent to the market for sale to the students, to the teachers and to others who are using it. Finally it reached in your hands. So it's not a small or easy process. See, when we are talking about the secondary activities, this one is the pulp, wood pulp, and what about the next one? Yes, when we are talking about the next activity, see here, secondary activities are manufacturing change raw materials into products of more values to people. Yes, when we are talking about the raw materials for the purpose of jam or sauce, apples and other fruits are the raw materials. Same as secondary activities or manufacturing the change into raw material into the products for the purpose of the people, for the valuable purpose of the people, because raw material changed into a processed thing and it is so much valuable for ourselves. As you have seen, pulp was changed into paper and paper into a notebook. Yes, just we had discussed the different steps of making notebooks. See, these represent the two stages of the manufacturing process. First of one, what is the raw material for the notebooks? The raw material for the notebooks are trees, and after cutting down the trees, these were transported to the wood pulp industries, and again with the process they came to your hands. See, the paper made from pulp and cloth. Made from cotton. See, two different things are there. First one is the paper, which was made from pulp, and the second one is the cloth, and this cloth made from cotton have had values added to them at each stage of the manufacturing process. When we are talking about the different stages of the manufacturing, this one is the main thing, that each stage of the manufacturing is considered, because value added services are there to all of us. In this way, the finished product has more value, because just we are talking that value added services are there. So, these are more valuable and utility than the raw material that it is made from. So, lot of difference between the raw material and the processed things. See, when we are talking about the industries, yes, our chapter's name is industries. We are covering this chapter, chapter 5th. See, industry refers to an economic activity that is concerned with production of goods, extraction of minerals, or the provisions of services. It means different kinds of things are going on here in industries. Maybe it is an economic activity concerned with the production of goods, first one. Second one is the extraction of minerals from the different ores or rocks, and the last one is the provision of services, different services providing by different authorities. All these things included in the part of industries. See, thus we have iron and steel industry, production of goods, coal mine industries. In the coal mine industries, we all know there is an extraction of coal. And when we are talking about the tourism industry, it means a service provider industries. Many tours and travel agencies are there, and all these are service providers to the people. When we are talking about the iron and steel company, we will discuss about TISCO also here. It means all these products, the goods. And when we are talking about the coal mines, especially coal mine industries, then the main purpose of the coal mine industries are to extract coal from the different ore. So, this one is the main thing. When we want to classify the industries, there is a different classification of industries. See, here we are taking one by one. Here industries can be classified on the basis of raw material, on the basis of size, and on the basis of ownership. See, three main classification points are there. We are considering our first point. The first point covers raw materials. Yes, when we are talking about the raw material for the purpose of notebooks, then that is tree. Okay, wood pulp is there. And when we are talking about the industries, maybe on agro based industries, maybe on mineral based industries, maybe marine based industries, and forest based, depending on the type of raw materials they are using. It means the raw material is the main content for the purpose of raw materials industry classification. Okay, see here, when we are talking about the agro based industries, it means industries based on the agricultural thing, then use plants and animal based products as their raw materials. Okay, see, food processing is there, vegetable oil is there, cotton textile is there, dairy products are there. And when we are talking about the leather industries, you are using belt, you are using hats, you are using your bags, etc. All these are comes from the leather industries or the other industries. And when we are talking about the agro based industries, all these are based, maybe food processing industries, maybe vegetable oil industries, maybe cotton textile or dairy based industries. You are taking curd, you are taking cheese, you are taking butter, different items made from dairy products. You all are taking all these things from shops or malls. So, all these things comes in the agro based industries. So, when we are talking about the bags you are using, the pulp you are using, the basket you are using, many things you are using which are made up of leather, especially which are made up of leather, then we are calling them leather based industries, or industries which are taking leather as a raw material. It's our next point. mineral based industries. When we are talking, students, mineral based industries are those industries which are primary industries and especially using mineral ores as their raw material. It means raw material is here is a mineral, not other than minerals. Then these industries are based on mineral based industries. And when we are talking about the products of these industries feed other industries. Yes, many products feed other industries also. For an example, see, iron made from iron, and ore is the product of mineral based industries. So this one is based on mineral based, and we are talking about iron. Iron is made up from iron ore and other rocks or other things, and all these includes in the mineral based industries. See, when we are talking about the raw material, see here, this is used as raw material for the manufacture of a number of other products. See, such as heavy machinery, building materials and railway coaches. Yes, we all are using railway coaches. We all are living in buildings or houses and other things, and we are using heavy machineries. Not we are in, our industries are using heavy machineries. So students, see here, all these depends on the raw material for the manufacture of a number of different products based on all these things. When we are talking about the marine based industries, this one is totally based on marine, and these products used from the sea and oceans as a raw materials. Yes, many things made from the things of the sea and oceans, and all these things comes in the marine based industries. Raw materials are using from the seas and oceans, etc. So this concept is clear to you, that when we are talking about agro based industries, then all these things based on plants and animals. When we are talking about the marine based industries, all these things based on the sea and ocean based materials, raw materials. And when we are talking about the mineral based industries, the extracts collected from the ores and the other things produced from the mineral based industries are covering in this one. Next we are talking about the industries processing seafood. आपने देखा बच्चों, आपने खाया भी होगा या आप में से कईयों ने खाया होगा, सबने नहीं खाया होगा. Seafood or manufacturing fish oil are some examples of marine based industries. See, when we are talking about the forest based industries, forest based industries utilize forest produces as their raw materials, and many things we are covering in our different chapters in the history as well as geography about the forest laws and the things, the raw materials used in the forest produces. So see, all these industries associated with forest are pulp and paper, pharmaceuticals, furniture and buildings. So different types of industries are there and different types of based industries are there. We are discussing some industries here, and see about the pulp, see about the paper, see about the pharmaceuticals, furnitures and buildings, etc. All these are made up from the raw materials to the finest products and with the process of industrialization. See here, when we are talking about the different size of industries, we will divide it in different ways. First one, we will categorize the things, the industries based on. See here, we are taking its when we are talking about the size of the industry, see, it refers to the amount of capital invested, number of people employed and the volume of production. Three things are there, and as per three things, as per three sizes, we categorize these industries. First one is the capital invested on the industries. Next one is the number of people employed in the industries, and another one is the volume of production. It is in the large scale industries or the small scale industries. So all these are the different sizes for the categorization of industries. When we are talking about the based on size, industries can be classified into small scale and large scale industries. So this one is the classification of size of industries. When we are talking about the small scale industries, we will categorize in different way. When we are talking it in the large scale industries, see, as per the size we are dividing this thing here. So this one is the dividation, and when we are dividing, see, when we are talking about the cottage or household industries, these are the type of a small scale industries where the products are manufactured by hand by the artisans. जब हम बच्चों कहते हैं कि घर में ही हो रही है इंडस्ट्रीज, घर में ही आपने देखा रुई की बाती बनाई जाती है, आपने देखा पापड़ उद्योग है, बड़ी उद्योग है, या ऐसी कई चीज़ें हैं जो घरों में ही लिमिटेड पीपल्स के द्वारा ही बना के उसको बेचा जाता है. सो ऑल दीज कवर्स इन द स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रीज. सी, मेनली वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द कॉटेज और हाउस होल्ड इंडस्ट्रीज इन दिस वन. व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द बास्केट वीविंग, pottery and other handicrafts are some examples of cottage industries. When we are talking about the basket weaving, say basket weaving from the different types of material, from the jute material. When different types of people making different types of things at a cottage or in the household, then all these things included in the small scale industries. See, small scale industries use lesser amount of capital and technology as compared to large scale industries that produce large volume of products. So here is the main difference between the small scale industries and large scale industries. When we are talking about the small scale industries, then the first point includes that only and only lesser amount of capital we are using in cottage industries. And when we are taking the example of large scale industries, then the capital amount is large. The second point includes the technology. Yes, lesser technology is using in the small cottage industries. When we are talking about the large scale industries, high technologies are using by the industrialists. The next one is the investment of capital is higher and the technology used is superior in large scale industries. So this one is the main point of comparison. When we are comparing between small scale industries and large scale industries, these are the main points. See, when we are including silk weaving and food processing industries, these are small scale industries. See here, stresses in food processing of गोरेगांव नट, मखाना जिसको हम बोलते हैं, जो मखाने हम व्रत में यूज़ करते हैं, फास्टिंग में यूज़ करते हैं, ऑल दीज आर मेड अप इन द स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रीज. दिस वन इज़ द डिफरेंट प्रोसेसेस यूज्ड बाय द small scale industrialist, and all these are made up with the small amount of capital. When we are talking about the production of automobiles and heavy machineries, these all are included in the large scale industry. So the next point includes here for the point of differentiation, then food processing industries are in the small scale industries. And when we are talking about the production of automobiles, when we are talking about the heavy machineries, all these heavy machineries and automobiles, all these included in the large scale industries. Yes, other thing, first one is the comparison based for the purpose of size. When we are including about the ownership purpose, then there is a again the differentiation between these industries. See, when we are differentiating all these in the purpose of ownership, the first point covers here is the industries can be classified into private sector, state owned or public sector. or we will tell joint sector and cooperative sector. So these are the different classifications based on the ownership of the industries. See, when we are talking about the private sector industries are owned and operated by individuals or a group of individuals. So when we are talking about the private sectors holding industries are only controlled by the single individual or a group of individuals. So this one includes in the private sector. When we are talking about the different thing, see, when we are talking about the public sector industries are owned and operated by the government. See, all these operated by the government. Some examples are there, students. Example is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited and Steel Authority of India Limited. These are the examples of public sector industries, and public sector industries are held by the government. Yes, all this controlling is on the hands of the government sector. Some joint sector industries are also there. When we are talking about joint sector industries, it means joint. Joint means owned and operated by the state as well as individuals or a group of individuals. It means when two peoples or a group of peoples are joined for the purpose of industries, then that type of industry is the joint sector industries. And in this industries, the owner and operated persons are state as well as individual or a group of individual persons are there. So here are the some classifications about the private sector, about the public sector, about the joint sector, and when we are classifying about some examples are there. Example is here about Maruti Udyog Limited is an example of joint sector industry. Here public as well as private. It means government as well as individual or a group of individuals ownership is there. The next criteria about the ownership and the classification based on the ownership is the cooperative sector industries. When we are talking about the cooperative sector industries, students, these cooperative sector industries are owned and operated by the producers or suppliers of raw materials, some workers, or maybe from both. It means when we are talking about the cooperative, it means cooperation between the two peoples. Maybe they are the producers, maybe they are the suppliers of the raw materials, maybe they are the workers, or maybe it includes both the persons here. So this one includes cooperative sector industries. When we want to give an example here, see, Anand Milk Union Limited and Sudha Dairy are success stories of cooperative industries. Yes, here we are talking about the cooperation. Two peoples or the groups of peoples are cooperating to each other, and from that industries they are taking their benefits. See here, Sudha Dairy in cooperative sector is there, and in this one some suppliers are there and some of the workers are there. So this one is the first part of our industry, and we will discuss our next part in our next video. Stay with us. Have a nice day.